and the concept of, how do we make people rich, including the poor? Well, we're going to be talking further weeks about that. But as you develop and move forward with your skills and talents, you can become much more astute in your business world, which is going to help the technology. And that's going to offer opportunities for more and more wealth. And this is just one little piece of it. So, Jill, what my input is this. I'd like to kind of discuss with you a little bit about, well, you mentioned actually earlier about self-improvement. And then Larry has talked about, and you also have brought up about technology, tools, and techniques, and businesses. And I'd really like to talk a little bit more with you on, how can that be, as it's becoming a self-leader, how is that going to help business? And where do I fit in with that? And what does that do with what does that mean for the 12 Visions Party?
Yeah, Steve, I like the word that Larry used. He did talk about value. And I want to mention that Mark Hamilton sees the value of the precious human life. He is not a pretentious politician. He is someone who is genuine. And so he knows and he teaches us that as we improve upon ourselves, the greatest value that we can do is take ourselves into business. And so as you go through your own puzzle building of figuring out what it is you like to do, and then you can take it into business, you've reached your potential as a human being. And for instance, I personally love to visit with people. I like to talk to them. I like to help them. I like to be helped. I enjoy speaking. And I discovered years ago that I didn't want to be on the road in a job. And so I had to think about, what is my personality like? What can I do? And so when you take it into business and you follow the success puzzle pieces that Mark Hamilton gives you, for instance, what he calls a tracking report, your business can be streamlined just like your personal life with Neothink. There are none of those nitty-gritty details that you mentioned, Steve, that are lost. With the tracking report, you know how your business stands. It's not frightening to be in business because you know on a daily basis what kind of inventory you have, what's the payroll, what's this, what's that. So that is what I see it as is, Neothink does help us self-improve, and then it can be taken to the next level, which is business. And then, of course, for those of us that really see that after you develop a business, that the rulers, the ruling class, need to no longer be in the pocketbook of the creators. That's the difference. There are two types of people. There are those that actually produce values and later become a value creator, and there are those that actually destroy values. And we would have to look at the ruling class as destroyers of value. Because, for instance, when a business is taxed and that money may go to a social good program, the owner of the company and their employees do not have control over where their money goes. So that is something the 12 Visions Party is going to do for all of us, is give us more control in life.
Excellent statement you brought up about the taxes. Say, as we start becoming leaders, we open up the geniuses inside of us. This is how it works. As we develop and we become the person we're meant to be and living the life, our excitement comes to play, our motivation level. We start to think more clearly. We start to really start having more ideas and insight because, first of all, we're doing what makes us happy. We're doing the programs. We're doing the projects. We're doing things that are what we know will give value to society, and we're happy doing that. And the geniuses are going to be unleashed. They're going to be out there. And because of that, more technology, more programs, more health opportunities. And those are all the ways that the wealth will happen for us. And because we're going to be working by the universal law, not by man-made law. And that's flawed man-made law. That's going to be the difference. And we are going to unleash our geniuses. So this really is exciting to see how the 12 Visions Party is going to not only help us as individuals from the Neothink movement, but taking it to the world and developing. So I'm excited. This is really very powerful information, and I'm really glad to be part of this puzzle piece program. Michael Dilworth, do you have any comments before we wrap this section up and move on?
Yeah, I just have one comment, and there's not much I can say that hasn't already been said by the other panel members, and what Neothink's going to do is make people realize that they have the power to live within themselves rather than depending on the government. That's one of the big challenges we have in the United States and the TVP is when we start explaining the 12 Visions Party to some people, they don't get it. I can't imagine not having government supporting them and being like their father figure. They can't imagine it. So that's one of the big things that Neothink will do is empower people and make them self-reliant.
Thank you, Michael. Well, we've got a lot of information we've just covered, and I think it's time for us to take a little break. So you are listening to NTR Neothink Radio. This is Steve Fagan. We will be right back.
NTR Neothink Radio Network. Visit neothinkradio.com. Hi, this is Shalene, producer of Neothink Radio. I'd like you to meet someone very special, another mentor of mine. His name is Bill Bartman. During the last banking crisis, Bill went from dirt poor to a multi-billionaire. How did he do it? I know, and now I want you to know. Bill wants to personally share with you his proven techniques. So, please go to neothinkradio.com and look for the banner with that handsome face of Bill Bartman. Click on the banner and you'll go directly to Bill's video. Sign up on his website and you'll be all set. It's that easy. Go to neothinkradio.com and click on the banner of Bill Bartman. NTR Neothink Radio Network. Visit neothinkradio.com. On the road to the White House with the 12 Visions Party and your host, Steve Fagan.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Steve Fagan, and you're listening to NTR Neothink Radio. With me this evening is Jill Reed, Sue Moore.
Good evening.
Good evening. We've got Michael Dilworth. Hello, Sue. Michael, hello.
Good day.
All right. And we also have Larry Wert. Larry.
Hello, Steve.
Glad to have you on board with us. And we're going to continue on. You've heard quite a bit of information about how we in Neothink has our individual moving forward, and we also have the 12 Visions Party, which is taking it to the world. But, I think it's time. I'd like to take a little bit of discussion right now and get into this area. Mark Hamilton, who is the founder of 12 Visions Party, who we've all listened to his speech. We're all getting into the discussion of what he was discussing in his really very, I call historic and moving forward mentality through that speech was this. Mark Hamilton comments in the speech about for over 30 years he's been writing and working on self-improvement dynamics to grow the 12 Visions Party. So this, first of all, is something that just hasn't just happened. This has been evolving over time and over really years. And we want to look at, he has been looking at programs to make all people wealthy. And he's getting to understand the term, the rule of man is our scourge. And what I want to really have the panel, if you don't mind, let's start talking about, first of all, I want our listeners to be reinforced that this is not something that just happened. This has been evolving. This has been moving forward. This has been with perseverance and fortitude of a man who I call a visionary, who sees the opportunity and is getting it out there and has never stopped moving this forward. And I'd like to get your comments further about Mark Hamilton moving forward for those 30 years, still working forward and developing. So, Larry, I'd like to get your comment on Mark really staying with it and the growth of the 12 Visions Party.
Well, you're correct, Steve. Yeah, this is a journey, basically. The literature basically follows the journey that Mark Hamilton made. He started off like most of us. He had worked for a living, and he just was dissatisfied with that. He felt, this stagnant rut, and he knew there had to be something better. And that's where this literature comes from, his experience with life. Now, are his concepts unique? Yes, but they are also built on other philosophers' concepts. He's taken them to the next level, as we say with Neothink, the new way of thinking. So basically, the